All right, Sway in the morning, Shade45. Wow.
I
know. Wow. Wow.
Sway, I'm going to start crying.
I'm about to start crying. Are you kidding me? He's on our show. I was reading up about Tony Robbins. He's coached and inspired more than 50 million people from over 100 countries. More than 4 million people have attended his live events. Oprah Winfrey calls him superhuman.
That's nice.
What does that mean to be superhuman in Oprah's eyes?
I don't know.
Wow. Tony Robbins is here, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Robbins is on Sway in the morning. What does this mean? Have the B?
It
we
means
made it. We've
arrived.
We've arrived.
Like radio.
I remember.
That means I've arrived. I got to be here with you.
Oh, thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. Remember early on, some of the first time seeing you on Oprah, in fact, and other programs, and being a kid growing up in Oakland, a lot of times, a lot of the conversation I didn't necessarily relate to.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
especially self-help.
Yes.
Based conversation, self-motivation, how to get off that couch, how to pursue your dreams, how to believe in yourself, invest in yourself. But you have a way of communicating that it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what economic status you live in, religious beliefs, color of skin, none of that matters. It just resonates. It cuts through all of that BS. And then it hits you right in the heart and in the mind. And you help people like me be confident in what it is they're pursuing to do, the dreams they have, even when they're broke, even when doors have been slammed in their face. So one of the things I always say to friends of mine that I work with, you are your best natural resource. Invest in that.
Yeah, you're so right. You're so right.
And I kind of bit that from you. I hope you don't mind, man. I hope that ain't no copyright infringement right there, Tony Robbins.
I'm going to start tweeting that and put Sway underneath it.
Okay, all right. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. So how did it all happen? How did it all start for you, though? What you know?
Well, I grew up in a pretty tough environment myself. No money, no food at times. In fact, I wrote this book. In the middle of writing this book, I decided I had Thanksgiving where there was literally no food, and my family was fed by some strangers. And I'll never forget the day. It changed my life because it made me believe strangers care. So it made me start to care about strangers. And I swore someday I'd find a way to give back. So I want to know every answer. I hate suffering because I've experienced it. My friends have experienced it. My family did. So I wanted answers. What do you do to change your body? What do you do to change your mind? What do you do to change your emotions? What do you do to change your economics? And I became obsessed. I've been obsessed for 37 years. But I've tried to pay it forward. So I've fed now 42 million people. Started feeding 2 people, then 4 the next year, then 8. And this year I decided I thought, I don't know if you know, but they cut food stamps. They don't call it food stamps anymore, but by 8.7 billion. We used to live on that, my family.
So did ours.
And I was like, are you kidding me? 2 million people just disappear like that. Like they disappear. And I feed people every year. I feed 2 million people through my foundation. I do 2 million, I match it. And I'm really proud to be able to do that, to pay it forward. So I've fed 42 million people in my life. This year I thought, you know what, I'm going to take this book. I'm going to write a book that changes anybody's life. I don't care where they are, just beginning the journey. They're in trouble. They turn around. And I thought, I'm going to donate all the profits in advance. How many people could I feed? And I found I could feed 10 million people with all that I was getting. So then it got bigger. So I'm feeding 50 million people starting a week from now with Feeding America. And I'm getting them to work with matching funds so we feed 100 million people. So I'm going to go from a guy that had no food to being able to help 100 million people. It's pretty exciting.
Tony Robbins, man. Let me ask you this. If you as one individual can feed 100 million people, why are there still people starving on this planet?
Well, I think there's plenty of resources, man. I just think the unfortunate part is people think about themselves.
Yeah.
And the worst part about that is there's nothing worse than an angry rich man or an angry rich woman. They got all the resources in the world, but what they've forgotten is they expect everything. I tell people, you want to change your life and you have no money, it doesn't matter. Trade expectation for appreciation.
Yeah.
And your whole life changes. Because you can have $1 billion, and if every day you're pissed off and frustrated and angry, your life's pissed off, frustrated, and angry. That's the quality of your life. But if you have nothing, I've been there plenty of times, but you're grateful for what you have, you're rich. I mean, you really do. You have more joy than they do. So I think it starts with becoming emotionally rich, and then it's coming up with a plan and deciding you're going to master this area of your life, not dabbling, but saying, I'm going to kick its ass. I'm going to figure this thing out. And that's what I did.
Title of the book is Money, Master the Game, 7 Simple Steps to Financial Freedom. Real quick, Tracy was talking to Heather B about giving to to bums on the street.
Homeless.
Homeless, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Not bums, wait. Tony's here. We can't
Tony,
use
can
our
you use those
language.
words for Tony here? Oh,
I'm
all
trying
right.
to take care of these people. I can't be bums, man.
Okay, my bad. Heather has a theory on that.
You can't give to everybody, Tony. I'm just being honest. My way,
true.
because I see the same people all the time. And one day I walked past a homeless guy, or not sure if he's homeless, a guy who's always at Port Authority.
Yes.
And he was smoking cigarettes. And I was like, cigarettes are $12 a pack.
Yes.
I don't even have enough for cigarettes. How am I feeding your habit? So I'm kind of selective about who I give money to.
I don't think that's wrong. I think putting your money where you think it's going to really make a difference is smart. I have a different philosophy, but my philosophy started early on because I met this man who mentored me, and he said, look, Tony, he goes, if you go there and somebody asks you for some money, if you got it, he said, you got two choices. Evaluate them, and you might be wrong. You might think this person's just going to go smoke crack with us or something. But my view is, if I got it, I give it. It's not for me. Let God decide that.
Yeah.
If I have the ability, then I'm going to do it. Now, some people are mad if you don't have more and things like that. And I just, that's part of life as far as I'm concerned. But I try to direct my money, obviously, to people that are going to be resourceful. They're going to do that and grow it, help their family, make something happen. But, those daily experiences, I think they really matter. I had a guy one time, I'll never forget, I was in Boston. It was like midnight. And this guy is wobbling back and forth across, between the street and the sidewalk. And he's drunk as hell, you could tell. And I thought, this guy, I know he's going to beg me for some money. And then sure enough, he gets real close to me and all of a sudden pops his head and goes, Mister. He said, would you loan me a quarter? And he just stoned out of his mind, right? And I looked at him, I thought, do I want to reinforce this behavior, just like you said? At the same time, I thought, I don't want him to suffer. So I thought, maybe I can teach him a lesson. So I said, is that all you want, a quarter? He said, yeah, just a quarter. A quarter changed my whole life. One quarter changed my whole life. So I reached in my pocket, I pulled out my billfold, and I made sure there was hundreds on the outside. Right? I made sure he saw the hundreds, reached under it, got a quarter. Put my money back in my pocket. And he's watching that hand. He's watching it go back in the pocket. He sees the quarter. I put the quarter in his hand, and I said, life will pay whatever price you ask of it. And then he stared at me, looked back at my pocket, looked at the quarter, looked back at my pocket, looked at me and said, you're weird.
Tony Robbins.
I was a total failure, man.
I'm not sure if that one paid off, Tony. All right, Tony Robbins is here. I want to ask you, how can the person who makes $30,000 or less improve their financial situation in this day and age? If you have any suggestions and if this book apply to them, you have issues, 888-742-3345. Question Tony Robbins. Sway in the morning, Shade45, the author of the book Money, Master the Game, 7 Simple Steps to Financial Freedom. Man, inspirational speaker, just all around great guy. Tony Robbins is here. Heather, Tony just, I didn't think he would remember this, but we created this original series, first mobile series of its kind for Viacom.
Okay.
With him through MTV. It was called the Hip Hop Owner's Manual.
Yes.
And this was back, I don't even remember what year that might have been. No, that might have been 08, 05.
Yeah, 4, 5, 6 years ago, yeah.
Okay, cool. So, and it was the first of its kind, and it was revolutionary. So no one else had done it to that point. We brought in Tony Robbins. What was the word?
Ratchet.
Oh, yeah, we had him break down Ratchet. Right?
Oh, wow.
Do you remember what you said?
Yeah, I was talking about, it's doing it your way and not giving a damn what anybody else thinks about, right? So I was talking about you got to raise your game. You just can't play the way you were playing, and you got to be real, and you got to shut off the fear. Yeah. It was like Tupac's whole thing. You can't look in the rearview mirror, right? What does he say in his last line of the song? Real men do what they want, bitches do